The Cincinnati Bengals have been an up and down team. Joe Burrow's health has been up and down. The performance of this team has been up and down. Last year went 9-8. I believe the year before that they were really good. Then this year they kind of fell off again. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not a lot of consistency with this Bengals team. And it feels like almost time is running out. Either Joe Burrow is going to ask for a trade, or he's just going to retire Andrew Luck style because he's tired of constantly being hurt and constantly being injured. And we are going to try to fix that. We are going to try to bring this team back to the Super Bowl and hopefully win a Super Bowl for Joe Burrow and this Bengals squad. Or maybe we'll trade Joe Burrow and we'll blow this whole thing up. Who knows? So this Bengals team has underperformed. I mean, there's no other way to put it when you have the weapons of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I know, hey, maybe the other guys behind him. Who really cares? Right? You have these two guys here, some decent tight ends, a really good running back in Chase Brown. I know the interior of the line probably needs some work. I mean, probably the tackles need some work too, but it's not all bad. Really, I think where you come and things get a little dicey is this defense, right? I mean, linebackers need work. We definitely need to work on the edge position. Trey Hendrickson, has that injury, and he's probably not going to be back. So that's probably the key of the draft and free agency for this team is to get better at edge. I mean, you have Shamar Stewart here, a rookie player who I don't believe did much at all his rookie year. I mean, did not record a sack. I'm sure if you look at the advanced stats, I don't think his pressure ratings were all that. His pass rush win rate wasn't that good either. So it's one of those situations where, just it looks like a bad pick. And they've kind of have struck out here on a couple edge guys. Joseph Asai. I mean, this guy's been in the league now, 5, 6 years. I mean, this is, year number 4. This is now year 5 he's going into in 2026. And he's been okay. He's been all right. But nothing that's I mean, he was a 3rd-round pick, so you've gotten some decent production out of him, but you're probably hoping for a little bit more, and you probably bypass taking other more talented edge players to get him. You do have some decent corners here. There is a little bit of talent there. I think the real issue for this team, if I'm being honest, is the fact that they can't generate enough pressure to really get after quarterbacks, to really, I think, help out these, safeties and these corners, help these guys out, get them some help. They can't just be there back there all day in, playing pass coverage. You need to be able to get to the quarterback, and this team kind of doesn't really do a great job with that. There's really just not a lot of pressure here. Almost everyone has, all day to just throw. So the goal here is going to be get this defense up to speed. I think we're pretty good on the offense. Last rebuild, we traded Lamar Jackson. We're not going to trade Joe Burrow here. We're going to keep Joe Burrow. And if you're wondering, the Rams beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. So we have some re-signings to do here. And if I'm being honest, I just don't think there's anyone here that we're really going to bring back. Joseph Osai, I mean, it's a cheap deal. So honestly, truthfully, it doesn't really hurt us to bring him back. Just to have him here for the depth. Trey Hendrickson, we are not going to bring back. We could tag and trade him, honestly. Or not even tag him. We could probably just straight up sign him and then trade him if we really wanted to do that. I don't plan on doing that. I don't think he would probably appreciate that. Dalton Reisner, depth guy, bring him back. Oh, he thinks free agency will be better in the long run. Well, enjoy free agency then. Lucas Patrick. You have Dylan Fairchild over there at left guard. So, not going to bring him back either. And I don't think we're going to bring any of these guys back. Trey Hendrickson, we are going to let walk and see if he can go get another big payday. But we are on to free agency. And we have some moves we got to make. So we made 2 free agent signings so far. It's going to be Jalen Coker, just to have an extra receiver, and David Edwards, who probably should start for us somewhere on this offensive line. In terms of anything else, there's really nothing else out there that I am particularly interested in. Again, there are better right tackles. I suppose we could do that and just kind of have Rob Havenstein here. I mean, at right tackle, I suppose we could do that. We'll take a quick look here. Is there anything better at left tackle? I mean, I don't know. Just kind of feels like if we're not drafting anyone, and again, if they're not like a significant upgrade, I feel like I really just should not waste my time with them. Looked around at defensive tackle again, nothing in there that I particularly like that I thought would like really help us out right now. So we're gonna stay away from that. I think that's gonna be it for free agency. Really, it's just gonna be those 2 players. In terms of edge, I mean, there's guys there, sure, but no one that's like a clear upgrade. And it's kind of like, well, we might as well just kind of like what we have already, kind of just let them to continue to develop, honestly, instead of going out there and getting entirely new players. So a light free agency, nothing major. More, I think, is going to come from the draft with this team. Okay, so we are in the draft here. It's not the exact correct order because I don't know, the game doesn't recognize the actual how this order would actually be in real life, but we're going to advance to the next pick here, and the Titans go with Keldrick Falk at number 1. The Jets take Fernando Mendoza at number 2. The Cardinals take David Bailey, which should leave Dante Moore for the Raiders. Then the Giants are going to take Caleb Downs. Commanders are going to take Reuben Bain Jr. The Chiefs are going to take Jeremiah Love, so kind of similar to what a lot of people think could happen in real life. The Saints go Peter Woods there. The Browns, they are going to go Makai Lemon. And we are on the board here. And this is, I think, a pretty simple pick for this team. The best defensive tackles are like off the board. Sure, we could take one of these tackles here. Spencer Fano, Maui Noga could be a guy we could take. Kanan Proctor. Caleb Lomu is another guy that we could take. Kaden McDonald is probably pretty good too. But we are going to take probably the best player remaining in the draft, and it's going to be Arvo Reese. I've done it before, and we're going to do it again in this rebuild. I think this is a great pick for, from my understanding, Arvo Reese is a guy who, could play out off ball linebacker, kind of that, Mike linebacker if they wanted to, or could project to be a potential edge guy as well. I'm not sure if this draft class has him set up exactly to be that guy. I don't know. I don't know if he kind of profiles out like that in the game. His power moves is A to C, his finesse moves A to C, so I'm not sure what those are. But yeah, we're gonna advance to our next user pick, which is gonna come in round number 2. Maybe there's still a defensive tackle on the board that we could grab. Maybe there's still a center, a tackle, something like that. Kenyon Sadiq, which again I think I've done before in one of these drafts. So I'm probably not going to do that again. We're looking around here. Xavier Harris, nose tackle. His moves are not very good. His physicals, he has great strength, poor acceleration. Everything else is not particularly great. We're looking around here. What do we want to do? I would like to try to find an edge player. 100%. Try to find another edge guy. Take a swing for one. Zachariah Branch is here. Eli Stowers is here. We could use a new tight end, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest. We look around here. A to C. Let's see what this is actually looking like here. Run blocking is not particularly good. 6'6", 259 though. Great speed, great jumping, great change of direction. Tanner Kozoli. I don't know how to pronounce that. Bad spectacular catch. We're gonna take a shot on him here. See if he's any good. 69 in true value. Drafted him at 42, 83 speed, 68 strength, 86 acceleration. We do need probably a tight end of the future. Mike Gesicki is getting up there in age. And Tanner, however the hell you pronounce that. I know Kenyon Sadiq was there. We've already done Kenyon Sadiq. You know what I mean? Like we've gone down that path before, so I don't want to keep doing it. So I do want to do something a little bit different. There, just to change things up a little bit, and just add some newness to these rebuilds. I think I don't want to just keep kind of doing the same things I've done over and over and over again. And speaking of that, we are gonna go with Zane Durant here. I don't believe I've gone with Zane Durant. Guy I've thought about in some rebuilds. And this time we do go Zane Durant. 115 in true value. Drafted him at 74, so probably a reach. But the block shedding's okay. The play rec's okay. Good awareness, good power moves. Tackling needs work, but decent enough strength, good enough acceleration, 83 speed. A little on the smaller side, but I don't know. Should potentially help us. You know, at this point, you're kind of just taking some blind chances here. We come back here round 4, which is kind of the last of our... We do not have another pick until the 6th round, so this will probably be the last pick I am going to make here. In this draft, we are going to take a tackle. It is going to be Caleb Tiernan. He looks good. Might be a guy who just falls, but we are going to draft him 148. And again, we don't know what his actual things are. Looks like a good pass blocker, not a great run blocker, but we do need some good pass blockers here. But why not take a shot on a tackle? And we'll advance to the end of the draft, and I'll see you for the recap. So this is our draft recap. Caleb Tiernan is a 70 overall. That's not too bad. Zane Durant, a 71 overall. Tanner Kozol is a 73 overall, so that's pretty good. But Arvo Reese is a 78 overall here for us. 6'4", 248 pounds. We take a look here at his stats, or his attributes. 82 play rec is really good. 88 block shedding. 63 zone coverage. Good finesse moves, power moves. Again, like I said, this is a guy that probably couldn't get after. It's more likely, honestly, he really does kind of, I think, from my understanding, I think from what I see, he projects to be an edge, if I'm being entirely honest. And I want to see exactly what his stats are if we move him to straight up to edge, as opposed to having him be our Mike linebacker. If he becomes our left edge player, save changes, what does his overall become now? I hope this doesn't like break the game. He goes up to an 80. So I think that's where he's going to be for us in this rebuild. He's going to be an edge for us. Can probably drop in the coverage if you need him to every now and then, but I think he should be able to we should be able to develop him as an edge rusher, and he should put up some good stats as an edge rusher. So goes from a 77 to an 80 overall, which potentially makes him maybe one of the best players in the entire draft. Maybe right behind Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love, and there's Arvo Reese. So, I think that's a pretty good draft for us, honestly. Potentially got the best actual edge rusher in the entire draft at pick 10. That's kind of what the Bengals need to do. They kind of need to strike in this kind of way to get this team back going forward, I think. So we are making a trade here with the Packers. We're going to trade our 2nd round pick in the 2027 draft and a 7th round pick in that draft here. We're going to see if this is enough for Quay Walker. And it is. We are going to acquire Quay. In real life, I actually expect Quay Walker to hit the market in free agency. I don't think that, again, that doesn't happen in Madden because, contracts and stuff like that. But we are going to acquire Quay Walker because I moved Arvo Reese. to basically we're going to attempt to develop him as an edge. That means Quay Walker is going to come here and he is going to play Mike linebacker for us. I'm not the biggest Quay Walker guy IRL. This single digit stuff is just not for me, man. There we go. 55 is a good number. Someone's probably gonna tell me that's a retired number for this guy or that guy. Look, if they let me use the number, I'm gonna use the number. But yeah, Quay Walker, a 2 and a 7 for a 26-year-old player who just signed a 4-year extension, which means he's gonna be here his entire prime. It's a pretty cheap contract. I like it, and we can still develop him a little bit here. You know, honestly, get that play rec up, get that coverage up. That's what we're going to focus on with Quay Walker. So I think we fill a hole on our defense right there, and I think it was a good trade. So I'll see you at the start of the season. So we are at the end of training camp, and there's some players out there that we can go and grab, and I think one of those guys is going to be Poona Ford. Bring him in for a year. Why not? Still an 80 overall player. Sheldon Rankins is here as well. Probably not going to bring him in. 78 overall. Not too bad. You know, what we want to do here. Are there some guys we want to bring in? We'll take a look here at these defensive tackles. You know, see where they fit in afterwards, but block shedding here in the play rack. That's really important. And really, it kind of does just come down to these two guys here. And I think it is going to have to be Sheldon Rankins. We'll bring him in as well. I mean, just to have more defensive tackle depth. That's what we need. We need to get better there, and that's what we're going to attempt to do with that. So I'll see you when I'm done making these cuts. All right, we made another trade with the Packers. This is for Sean Rhyan, and we need a different center. And I will say this, not sure why all this is declined, but in real life, Sean Rhyan actually did, you know, after Elton Jenkins went down, actually played center. And I have to say, he actually did a very good job at center for the Packers. You know, so Sean Rhyan, we are going to move him to center. Before I get into this and go look at the team, I am aware of the regression bug for quarterbacks. There's not much I can do with that. For the simple fact that I am not going to be moving around and constantly changing quarterback overalls. I think it's a bug across the league. Across the entire league will deal with the regression from quarterbacks. So I'm not all that worried about it. So Sean Rhyan will be our starting center, 70 overall. So, I mean, again, nothing to really write home about, but it is better than where we were before with that. And was that a steep-ish price to pay? Probably, but I am willing to pay it. So here is the team for the first year of the rebuild. We hope this offensive line can get better at tackle. We may have to do some work in trying to develop those guys or find those guys. Our top 3 receivers are very good. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jalen Coker, and then everyone else is kind of everyone else. Who really cares? Joe Burrow. You know, again, we'll take a look. I'll talk about it. That is a thing. You see, there is that regression. I don't know why that's in there. I honestly might go and fix these and re-raise those back up because that really shouldn't be happening. I don't understand how you screw something like that up in January going into February. That's very odd. But this is the defense right here. And you know what? I think it looks a little bit better. The defensive tackle room is a lot better, honestly. Arvo Reese here. Corners look good. Safeties look good. You know, I think this defense should be a little bit better, honestly, just because of Poona Ford and Sheldon Rankins and Arvo Reese and Quay Walker. I think this defense should perform a lot better for this team. And I think that should leave us in position to, you know, win a lot of games. I think that's something that we absolutely can do. And yeah, so I will see you at the midseason mark. And we're using a fictional draft class here. I'm only going to use a real draft class for the first year of these rebuilds. The rest will just be all fictional. Random generated rookies. Okay, so mid-season mark, we are 4-3 on the season, which is not ideal. I mean, it's fine, I suppose. I mean, Joe Burrow, great year, of course. I mean, it is Bengals playbook. So 2,200 yards so far, 15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Take a look at the rushing attack. Nothing too special. We know this with this playbook. The rushing attack does not get a lot of love. It is really all about the receivers. And Jamar Chase closing in on 1,000 yards receiving already. T. Higgins, pretty good. Jalen Coker, a nice little wide receiver 3. And Tanner Kozel is, he's there, man. 29 receptions, 22 for Chase Brown. And then Gesicki, not much else there. Defensively, I'm interested to see how we're doing. And Arvo Reese is up to 1.5 sacks already. Play Walker with a sack, Puna Ford with a sack, Jordan Battle, all those guys with half a sacks. But Sheldon Rankins 4 sacks so far, BJ Hill with 3.5, and Barrett Carter with 2 sacks on the season so far. But then 3 interceptions for DJ Turner, Dax Hill with 1, Cam Taylor-Britt with 1, and Geno Stone with 1. So getting some turnovers, getting some pressure. Would like to see a little bit more pressure, but I'm not going to complain. So we'll see if we make the playoffs. I'm interested to see if we can. We are currently not tied, but right there with the Steelers for the AFC North title. Okay, so we do make the playoffs at 9-8. We get in as a wild card, not the last wild card, as the Chiefs sneak in at 8-9. Take a quick look at these stats real quick. Joe Burrow, almost 5,000 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, 8 interceptions on the day. Chase Brown, 14 rushing touchdowns. My guess is this playbook probably simulates in a way where it's like there's a lot of red zone opportunities for Chase Brown and not much else. That's why you see in this playbook, the Bengals playbook, you always get these kind of, how do I say this? You always get these high touchdown totals, but low yards, low average is per game. And then we take a look here at Jamar Chase, 1,800 yards, 22 receiving touchdowns. T. Higgins, 8 receiving touchdowns with 1,100 yards. Almost 1,000 yards for Jalen Coker. He, came here, had a really good season, got to play with a real quarterback. And then Tanner Kozel with, almost 700 yards receiving in his rookie year. Kind of takes over that tight end spot for us. And what was he, a second, third round pick? So I am pretty happy with that. We then come back here with the sack numbers. Sheldon Rankins with 10.5, BJ Hill with 7. Arvo Reese gets up to 6 sacks on the season. 3.5 for Shamar Stewart, 3 for Puna Ford, and the rest of the way down here. You can take a look at those if you're interested. And then interceptions, 8 for DJ Turner. That's a lot of interceptions. 3 here for Cam Taylor-Britt, 2 for Jordan Battle, and 1 each for Geno Stone and Dax Hill. So we got some more upgrades to do here before we get into this playoff game versus the Ravens. And we're going to do some upgrades. We should have a lot. And Dylan Fairchild actually gets 4 upgrades. So we will just go with Agile with him for each of these upgrades. Get him a little bit higher rated. And that's always good to see these guys progress. These linemen, I feel like at times, sometimes they don't progress particularly well. Regardless if you put up good offensive numbers, I feel like they need to do something about that in next year's game, where it's like, hey, if you're having a successful offense, some of those XP gains and things like that should maybe be fed towards your linemen. But he gets up to a 75 overall, so he's developing quite nicely. And then Jalen Coker here, it's going to come in with 3 upgrade points on the season. So that is pretty nice. We are just going to go with what is best for him, and that is going to be physical. I do feel like in Madden 26, this is the best archetype from all these rebuilds I've done. It seems like you get a good boost to just about everything with the physical archetype. So yeah, I feel like there's no reason not to do that one. And then Arvo Reese, we're going to focus on a couple guys here, and, it says run stopper, but we're still going to go with power rusher, just trying to get that up here. I'm sure that just made him a speed rusher, even though we went with power rusher. And yeah, so we'll go with run stopper again, get him back to a scheme fit so you can keep getting extra XP. A very good rookie campaign for him, getting that block shedding up. He is a superstar dev, and you see the rest of his stats there. Starting to get some things up, particularly probably the awareness and play rec, but so far so good here for Arvell Reese as we move through this franchise, this rebuild. The rest of these guys, we are just going to, actually, we're going to come in here and get Quay Walker and go with pass coverage again for him. Make him a better pass cover player. And +2 man coverage, +2 play rec, +1 zone. So that's a pretty good upgrade for him, especially heading into the playoff. And then Tanner Kozel. I'm probably saying his name completely wrong, but I feel like it's not Koziol. I'm almost positive that I is silent. I could be wrong. Feels like kind of like a Polish type of name. I could be wrong, but that's the read on. That's the vibe it gives me. 28 players get upgrades, and we're gonna see if we can beat the Ravens in the playoffs. Okay, so we are here in this first playoff game. I'm gonna try to avoid really getting involved in these, I think, moving forward. I think that kind of makes these a little too easy. And we want this to be more about the team building aspect. Also, I just feel like I really need to jump in. Maybe we will. But right now, we're beating this Baltimore team 16-10. And we are in position here to go up 24-10. Still a lot of time left here, though. Baltimore can still make something happen. They do get a touchdown. And we're going to see they get the ball back. They do march down the field, but we are able to come away with the victory. 24-17. We are able to hold on here, beat John Harbaugh and the Ravens in the playoffs, and we are moving on to the divisional round. And defensively, we can talk about this. Arvell Reese, his first playoff action, he shows up big time here. 2 sacks on the game. Sheldon Rankins a sack and a half. Oren Burks with a half sack as well. No turnovers or anything like that, but again, offense played well enough. Jamar Chase a touchdown, and then Joe Burrow 19-28 for a touchdown in his return to the playoffs. So next up here in the divisional round, we're going to be taking on the New England Patriots, Drake May and these guys. So let's see if we can kind of make it back-to-back, see if we can get to the AFC Championship game. Okay, AFC divisional round here versus the Patriots. Going to kind of follow what I did last time, and we're just going to stay out of it. We are going to let the chips fall wherever they may. Get it, Drake May? We are trailing 10-7 here, and we do tie this thing up. We have the ball back again. Can't do anything with it. Defense gives up a field goal. Do I come in? I'm just going to let them kind of go for it. They tie it up here, overtime. I'm just going to let it play. We're going to let the CPU handle. We're going to let our team building handle this here. I'll come in now. Now I'll come in and do something at this point in the game. Okay? If they're literally begging me to come in and help. So I'll do it. We're going to go to Kozel right here, and he is kind of just free, almost outrunning the entire Patriots defense right there. Big play right there, and this is, I'm pretty sure we're at a point where a field goal is going to win the game. I'm not going to completely never jump in and play any of these, and that got blown up right there. I don't get that. If he has high wear and tear, get him out of the game. Like, what are we doing? Also, I'm sure that came from the fact that they probably decided to guess my run play. So we're going to come back again here. 13-13, tied up here overtime. And we're going to get outside here. Samaje Perine picks up a couple yards right there. God, is he slow. Samaje Perine is one of those guys where it's like, why is he still on this team? I don't know. Someone likes him. So we're going to get this ball to T. Higgins. Higgins here leaps over a guy. And we are now in field goal range here. I think a field goal wins it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure they've had the ball already. So I don't know if a field goal wins it. But Perine again, the nice rush right there. We should probably go in and, well, yep, time to kick the field goal. And he's going to ice us. That's fine. We're going to kick the field goal anyways. And there we go. Kick is up. Kick is up away. And it should be good. And we are moving on to the AFC Championship game as we beat the Patriots in overtime, 16-13. And well, if you won't believe it, Patrick Mahomes has dragged an 8-9 Kansas City Chiefs team to the AFC Championship to take on Joe Burrow and the 9-8 Cincinnati Bengals. So, rematch of a really classic AFC Championship game a couple years ago when the Bengals were able to, win that game and move on. So, it's a home game for us. We're 9-8 to both of the wildcard teams in the AFC bracket have made it to the championship game. I don't know if that's ever happened or not, but it results in us getting a home playoff game despite being the, 6th seed? All right, so AFC championship game. We are not going to try to jump in this one at all unless it's like do or die. We really have to. I'm going to try to not to do that at all here. 14-7, 14-14 now. Again, going to see if we can get some points here. Big third down. Can we make the stop? Chiefs take the lead, get a red zone opportunity, we get a touchdown, 21-17 now. Third quarter still, 21-20. Going to drive down, get another touchdown, 28-20 here. Chiefs battling back. They're going to get a touchdown. They go for two, tie it up. Can we keep it going here? The Chiefs, Mahomes, we go to overtime. Big end-of-game drive, get a score for the win. I suppose we can come in and see what happens, but this will likely just be a handoff here. Again, I'm not sure why they would bring me in. I have timeouts. I should call these, but we are just going to run this here, see if we can do anything. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. And see if we can maybe run the ball again. I guess technically that was maybe a bad timeout because if they tackle us right away, well, we pick up the first down. We're going to call another timeout. 4 seconds left. We are just going to throw a deep bomb here. And we're going to hope. We're going to see if someone can win here. Now, this could be strip sack. Really, honestly, this is kind of a bad idea, if I'm being honest. But we are just going to throw one up here for Jamar Chase. And he can't get to the football. Just a little bit underthrown. So now this game will go to overtime again. I'm going to try not to jump in on any in this overtime. I'm going to let CPU kind of play for it here. I thought we had a better opportunity to maybe try to win the game. Not sure why the game has to show me all this. I'm sure someone likes this. Well, we want the ball, and we're going to score. We receive it. And, yeah. So, we want the ball, we're going to score. And back to Super Sim. Play key moments. And skip the moment. We're gonna see. Well, Chiefs get the football here. Overtime alert. We need a score. We need a score. And it looks like the Chiefs are going to beat us 31-28. And the Chiefs, at a sub 500 record, are heading to the Super Bowl. Rad. So the Chiefs go on to win another Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is now a 4-time Super Bowl champion here as they defeat the Eagles 34-26. But Jamar Chase did win Offensive Player of the Year, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of cap space after that. I mean, look, honestly, that truthfully kind of put us like a year ahead of schedule. That playoff run. I did not expect us to, at least very much have the opportunity to win that game. But couldn't get it done in overtime against the Chiefs. And we are going to accept the option for Amarius Mims, Chase Brown. That's not that big of a contract. We will see if he's willing to come back. 3-year deal. and he is willing to stick around here. So we'll have Chase Brown back. Orlando Brown, we're going to let him walk. Caleb Tarrin is going to take over that role for us, and we are going to try to bring back Puna Ford if he's interested. And he is interested, so we bring back Puna Ford for a year. Miles Murphy, that is almost $10 million for a backup. That's just not going to happen. Joseph Asai, he'd be a little bit cheaper, honestly, to kind of just be a backup, situational pass rusher whenever he needs to be on the field. And that's going to do it, honestly, for everyone else here. Sheldon Rakins, we're going to let walk. Oren Burks, we're going to let walk. And we're going to see if a punter re-signs with us, because normally they don't. I don't know why. Punters, finally, punter re-signs with us, but we're going to go in with a little bit different left tackle room, or not room, starter. But apart from that, team is mostly coming back intact. $46 million in cap. We'll go take a quick look at these free agents. If there's a left tackle there that we like, Quinnen Williams is here. That would be a move that I think that you make when if you feel like, you know what, let's kind of, let's just go in here and try to win a Super Bowl, right? I think that's kind of what it is. I think that's a move you make when, now he's not particularly interested in us, but we're going to get this up to around $14.5 million, at least the salary, which let's just try to get this even. $30 million a year. Let's see if he likes it. And we're nowhere near the the top teams that he's even interested in. So he is just really not that interested in us. He's not that into us. And you know what? We're not going to force ourselves upon him. If he's not that interested, we'll take the hint and we'll move on. We do need an additional running back and someone with a little bit of burst. And I think that's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I like that idea. Bring in Isaiah Pacheco, backup running back. Could go out here and nab another receiver just to have like a third guy here. We're going to find someone that's only looking for like $4 to $5 million a year. And Cavante Turpin kind of fits the bill. Give him a 2-year deal. No clue if he'll actually stick around for 2 years. Take a look here at left tackle, and again, nothing all that interesting out there. I mean, there are some younger guys here, Broderick Jones and Wanya Morris. But again, we already have Caleb Tarrin on the roster, so that is going to be our left tackle of the future. Take a look here at center, and there's no one there that's really that much better than what we have. And if they are, it's not by much. So I think we're just going to roll. We're just going to keep rolling with what we got on this line, which I know that sounds a little out there, right? We could really upgrade here. We could honestly see if we can bring in Brian O'Neill or Warren McClendon. Actually, he's only a 73. I mean, again, I view this as with these guys where I only want to bring in someone that is like a massive upgrade. Brian O'Neill would be a massive upgrade on the left side of the line, but it's just not going to happen. So we take a look here at some more of these defensive tackles, and Devontae Wyatt, that's just not going to happen, I don't think. Look around the rest of these guys, and it's just a lot of no. So we're going to see maybe there's someone in the draft that we like. That's the way it's going to be right there. Will linebacker. I think we do need another Will linebacker. We actually have enough of them. So no, we don't. And we don't need a Sam linebacker because they don't seem to matter at all. So we're good at corner. We're set at corner, actually. Could maybe use another one, honestly, now that I really look at it. Riley Moss never wants to sign with me, ever. We got him once, and he's expecting a decent bit of money, and I don't know if I want to give him that money. Garrett Williams actually could be a decent little option here to bring in. Make that offer as well, as we have a ton of active negotiations. Good at safety, good at everything else. So, targeted players, we're kind of in the first place on all of them. See if they want. Turpin just needs to just sign the contract. Okay, he's going to play hard to get, but we get Isaiah Pacheco, we get Garrett Williams. That gives us some more corner depth. I do feel like corner depth really does matter. Quinn Williams signs with the Texans, so stays in conference along with Leonard Williams as well, so that's not fun for us. So Turpin finally decides to sign with us, and I think that's going to do it for free agency. I don't want to max out our free agent spending every single year. That's how you end up having to make a bunch of tough decisions the following year. So I think that's going to do it for free agency. Kind of picked where we needed to get better at, and I think we did it. So there we go. On to the draft. All right, we are making a trade in the draft. We trade a backup guard, a backup defensive tackle, a backup running back, our first round pick, a 2027 6th, and a 2029 7th to the Jaguars for their first round pick, which is pick number 19. Now, the reason why we make this trade, the reason why we jump up in the draft, it is to draft, potentially, we jump the Panthers, and we are going to go and get ourselves a center of the future, and that is Emmanuel Witherspoon. A, awareness, A, impact blocking, B, pass block, A, run block. He looks honestly great. Looks almost like a little bit, not great run block finesse. Finesse could use a little bit of work, but apart from that, and the D injury, he looks like a phenomenal player, and I would like to get him on our offensive line to make another spot, or one spot on that offensive line, I think potentially elite. Okay, so we are in the draft here, 2027 draft. We are going to make our selection, and I think it's pretty simple what we're going to do, and it is going to be that center. We looked at all of them. Taj Fulton, round 2 to 3 talent. Victor Bernal, who we were expected to take, were at the spot we were sitting at, and he just doesn't look like the best player. He does have some decent in the run block finesse is a little bit better, but apart from that, the finesse stuff is a little bit better, but I think there are more things going in Emmanuel Witherspoon's favor, and we are going to take him. Emmanuel Witherspoon out of Auburn was ranked number 8 in true value. We did have to trade up, give up some players, but also hidden dev. You don't see too many hidden dev linemen in these draft classes, I feel like, so I think it was the right move for us to move up and go and get him. So we do not pick again until round number 3. Remember that second round pick went to the Packers in exchange for Quay Walker. So we don't pick again until this third round, which means we are going to have to hit this pick pretty nicely. And that is going to be a defensive tackle, because we did trade a defensive tackle away from us. And again, there is some round 1 talent here. We're looking around, and hit power, pursuit, impact block. I'm not sure what that does, but the play rec here for Reynaldo Foster looks pretty good. So we are just going to take him right now. We're just going to take Ronaldo right now, and he's ranked number 13 in true value. Normal dev, which is a little disappointing, but he should still be a high overall player. So probably has a chance to, at the very least, upgrade his dev trade. We're going to go to our next pick here. We're going to hope that other defensive tackle is still there. We do have some aging players on our defensive line. So I think it would be pretty nice for us to essentially replace them in this latter half of the draft if we can do it. Again, I don't have the ability to move around that much here, and I don't think the one that I saw is here, but there is around 1 to 2 talent. Defensive tackle here, Michael Edwards. And B, block shedding, B, finesse moves, B, power moves, A, tackle, great strength, elite acceleration. His play rec is an A, so this guy looks really, really good. Probably going to be normal dev, though, if I know this game. Rig number 32 in true value. Hidden dev, actually. So that's a great pick. 93 strength, 85 acceleration. So there we go. I'm going to let the CPU handle the rest of this draft, but actually we go to our next user pick. I'm going to search for a running back since we traded one away. Let's see if there's any running backs that kind of stand out. I know we just brought in Isaiah Pacheco and things like that, but I do want to see if there is any running backs out here that kind of stand out, and I'm immediately going to say no. There's a power back right here that looks stiff arm, everything here looks kind of nice. Good, solid. We'll take Eric Trejo. And ranked number 131 in true value, got him at 157. 91 speed, actually. 91 acceleration. Not a bad pick. Honestly, I mean, if it was a hidden dev, that'd be great. But we have no remaining picks. That is going to do it for our draft. So I think we nailed that draft. And we had to, after, moving around, acquiring Quay Walker like we did. Previous start of previous season, that we did have to kind of be not having that second round pick did leave us in a little bit of a bind, but we got 4 players. Even a 68 overall is kind of fine for me, but Michael Edwards, 75 overall, hidden dev player, and just got to get that awareness up, honestly. Awareness and block shedding and finesse moves, of course, but I think this guy's going to be pretty awesome if we can develop him. And Emmanuel Witherspoon, also hidden dev player. Run block finesse is the only thing that really is holding his game back. Pass block finesse as well, but apart from that, looks very good. So I think that was a good trade up. And Ronaldo Foster, 77 overall as a rookie. Finesse moves has to be better. Awareness and play rec and block shedding. Got to get those up with him as well. But apart from that, I think we nailed this draft. Let's go see what the Panthers did since we jumped them to get who we wanted. They ended up just going with a linebacker instead. They also draft a quarterback, Zach Flynn. Yeah. So what did the Packers do with that additional second we gave them? And the one that we gave them, they decided to take Eli O'Neill. Hidden dev, 6'6", 290-pound edge rusher. So ratings, finesse moves aren't great, power moves aren't great, play rec isn't great, but he does have 71 block shedding, and he is a hidden dev. So potentially could be a diamond in the rough for him that they got with our pick that we gave him. And they also found Patrick Goldsberry, a 76 overall right guard. So good draft for the Packers. And speaking of drafts, we'll actually take a look at our divisional foes. The Ravens had a terrible draft. I mean, they do get Jerry Wyndham, 74 overall, but their first round pick was a 65 for their third round pick, 67 here. So I would say we had a better draft than them. And so take a look at the Steelers and their draft, 73 overall, 72 overall. So those guys kind of look like whatever. Nothing too special right there. So I feel pretty good about saying that we had a maybe, oh boy, Daryl Locke, 80 overall here. And then they took a quarterback. Actually, no, yeah, I took a quarterback right there. Decent right tackle, J.P. Townsend. But this running back, Daryl Locke, hidden dev, 80 overall. What's he looking like here? 93 speed, 95 acceleration, 93 agility, 91 stiff arm, 86 carrying, 84 break tackle. He looks really good. Good for them. Not going to help them make the playoffs, I don't think, but good for them. All right, so we went through training camp, and Emmanuel Witherspoon has superstar dev And we got him up to an 80 overall from double stacking Camp Counselor. You get a bunch of XP gains for all your players. So we have a lot to do here. Garrett Williams as well. We did a drill with him. Got him up to Star Dev. So pretty good upgrades right there for him. He goes up to an 80 overall. He's probably going to go up pretty decently here, actually, as we move throughout these training camp XP points that we're going to have to spend here. We spend it on zone, and then he loses his ability to be +5 man coverage. Wow. I'll take that. That's a pretty good upgrade, honestly. Gets it into the 80s, but he looks really good, and he's like our corner 3. So things looking pretty good for us. All right, so we are here for season number 3, I believe, or season number 2. What is this? I'm forgetting, actually. What'll help me remember this? No, I believe this is season number 2, actually. Arvo Reese is in his 2nd year. So this is year number 2. Team is mostly the same. Offense is mostly the same here. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Corker, Turpin. Offensive line, a little bit different. Witherspoon, superstar Dev. We have Tiernan here, going to be our starting left tackle this season. Fairchild is a 75 overall. He's progressing pretty nicely for us, actually. So he will be starting at right guard. Pretty good at tight end. And then defensively, again, we're pretty good here defensively. Sam, we can just put him right there, and there we go. We are looking pretty good, honestly. And this defensive line looks great. We are going to start Edwards, actually, just because I think we're going to go with him. We're going to try to see if we can maybe try to get him Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then DJ Turner went up to Superstar Dev, so we're looking really good here in the corner room. This team looks really good. 88 overall offense, 86 overall as a overall, and then 84 overall defense. So looking pretty good right there. I am excited to see what this team is able to do. I will fix the depth chart, but apart from that, I will see you at the midseason break or midseason mark. Whatever. I'll see you before the trade deadline. So we check in here at the midseason mark of the season. We are currently 8-0, so we are really taking it to the rest of the AFC North. We'll take a look at our stats and awards. I don't know if we have any awards just yet, but Joe Burrow, 2,200 yards, 16 touchdowns to 1 interception. Rushing is, I've explained it before, why it doesn't really work that well with this Bengals playbook, but you do get good goal line production. It seems like Pacheco also giving us some production as well, so I do like to see that. And then Jamar Chase, 11 touchdowns. He's just taking all the touchdown opportunities from everyone. Tanner Kozel, 2 touchdowns on the season for him, 240 yards on 27 receptions. But I have to say, Jamar Chase doing this type of damage on it feels like on just, 53 receptions is kind of insane. It feels like that's a really good pace. Let me take a look here at the sacks, and Arvo Reese really starting to come into his own right here. 9 sacks so far on the season. He is definitely developed himself into a edge rusher. We've developed him into an edge rusher who occasionally can drop into coverage as well because he just has an amazing athletic profile. Take a look here at the interceptions. It's Garrett Williams with 2 so far on the season. So no DJ Turner interceptions just yet. I mean, I think he led the way last year with like 9 of them, but as of right now, nothing for him. So I'll see you at the playoffs because I feel pretty good about us making them right now. We go 17-0. Yeah. Not even a 90 overall just yet, but I'm sure I think some of these upgrades might push us across that line. Zane Durant, who we took in our first draft, who is believe our like 4th defensive tackle. We're just gonna go with nose tackle with him. I think those usually get some pretty good upgrades with those. I mean, he is 292, so actually kind of a little undersized. So we'll go back with power, honestly. But, he's still developing pretty nicely, despite the fact that there's a lot of guys who have just kind of shown up and have kind of been in front of the depth chart on him. the two guys we drafted this year is just kind of the way that goes. Arvo Reese, I'm going to assume he had a great season. I mean, he was already at 9 sacks. I mean, that is a kind of a breakneck pace, if I'm being entirely honest with you. Um, that is just kind of, like I said, that's like just a stupid pace of sacks to be getting. So I'm going to assume that he has a lot superstar dev here, but you see the ratings for him are looking great. I mean, the finesse moves are really good. Still want to get those even higher. Emmanuel Witherspoon, our pick that we traded up for, a center. Who knew that a center could make this much of a difference? I don't know if it's all the center, but great season though. 17-0. Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, and then all these other guys that we've brought on. Really, I think it's the defense. Getting this defense right was, I think, really important. I think we've done that in pretty short order, honestly. We've kind of improved the interior of this defense. Again, that's something that I kind of always focus on in these rebuilds. It's very important to have that depth at defensive tackle, as we are just... Michael Edwards is up to an 83 overall here in his rookie year, and basically a steal of a pick for us, honestly, up to star dev. I'm not sure if he earned that or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's just an insane pick. And then all these other guys have more upgrades. Tanner Kozel, another upgrade here. Worked out pretty well for us this tight end, actually. Not taking Kenyon Sadiq for first time when I've taken a tight end with that real draft class. Decided to mix it up a little bit, and definitely seems like it was the right thing to do. So just going to... Actually, we will do the Dylan Fairchild upgrades as well, just to make sure those all go to Agile. I don't know if when you auto upgrade, it just kind of puts it in whatever bucket is a scheme fit or not, but I'm going to make sure these all go to that one as we just keep improving this offensive line. Keep improving the interior, and they're all young too, so these guys will be together at least for a couple years with this rebuild. So I do like to see that, and we are just close to being a 90 overall team. But Joe Burrow, 49 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 5,300 yards. Has the mentor tag already. I'm not sure. Okay. Almost 1,000 yards for Chase Brown. Joe Burrow, 260 rushing yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 6 rushing touchdowns on only 31 carries. That's insanely efficient, if I'm being honest. And then Jamar Chase, 2,000 receiving yards, 29 touchdowns. Absolutely insane stuff. And yeah, this is what happens when you use the Bengals with their playbook here. So we'll take a look here at the sack numbers here. Arvo Reese, 18.5 sacks, 12 for Zane Durant. Where the hell did Zane Durant come from? Shamar Stewart with 8 on the season. Michael Edwards with 6. Poona Ford with 4. Quay Walker with 3. Barrett Carter there. And just an insane... We were just torturing these quarterbacks this year, man. I mean, we were like King Von on these guys. It was not fun. And I'm sure people felt bad for the quarterbacks we were going up against. Gonna do the weekly strategy stuff, of course, but then I will see for whoever we're playing in the divisional round. All right, so we're taking on the Raiders here. We are 17-0, looking to kind of have an undefeated season. So see if we can make it happen. All right, so we got in here and started simulating right away, and it is a blowout here in Cincinnati. They're trying to make a game of it here. They kind of get back in it a little bit here. They're going to go for it. They're still going for it. They're still going for it. And we're going to come in here and shut this thing down. Looks like we had them pretty much dead to rights put away, but they are going to keep fighting. This Raiders team pretty feisty. We're going to get to Jamar Chase right there, pick up the first down, keep the clock moving right there, come back again, and try to put this thing away. I think is what we're going to try to do right here, right now. And Kozel makes just a great catch right there. I couldn't believe I wasn't sure if that was going to get caught or not, but There we go. Really good strike right there up the seam. Tanner Kozel makes the touchdown, and that should send us to our second straight AFC championship game. And now we've definitely created some distance here. And we're going to win this one 44-25. Headed back to the AFC championship game. Looking to go 19-0. Pete Carroll still has a job. All right, so taking on the Bills here in the AFC championship game. No Chiefs this time around. Let's see. They didn't even make the playoffs, actually. So won the Super Bowl at 8-9. And they go 5-12 the next year. That has to be one of the worst fall-offs for a Super Bowl winning team, but doesn't matter. They're out of our way. Let's go beat Josh Allen in the playoffs and go to another Super Bowl, Joe Burrow here. Or go to our first Super Bowl while we're here, but Joe Burrow's second Super Bowl. Hopefully we can get him that ring this time. All right, so we are about midway through this game so far, and we are dominating the Buffalo Bills. Up 21-0 here. Third quarter, still up. Up 28-0 here. Up 35-0 here. Buffalo, I think, finally going to get some points on the board here in this game, but this is a just massacre of the Bills here, and we are headed back. Or the Bills are. This version of the Bengals team is heading to the Super Bowl, but the Bengals as a franchise heading back to the Super Bowl, first time in a couple years here, couple down years. Here, post that Super Bowl, losing to the Rams, but now going back here with, I think, a team better than what they had in that one. All right, so here we are, Super Bowl, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like I always take on the Buccaneers in these rebuilds, and in at least one of these Super Bowls, but taking on the Buccaneers, we'll see if we can win it. I feel pretty good about our chances. We are definitely way better than them, so I think we should win this pretty easily, but you never know. All right, so we are in the third quarter of this Super Bowl. We're winning 24-7 now. And again, just kind of, I'm going to say dominating, but a little back and forth here. I mean, this is still a game if they get a touchdown here. And it looks like they maybe went for 2 or something. I'm not sure. But now they're down 21 here, and this one's over. The Bengals have finally climbed Mount Rushmore and won a Super Bowl here as they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like we've beaten Baker a ton in these Madden rebuilds, but Joe Burrow finally gets a Super Bowl trophy, finally gets a Super Bowl ring in our second year of this rebuild. We still have a long way to go. We still have 2 more seasons to get to, so how many more can we stack up for Burrow? Let's find out. So what a season for Burrow. Wins the MVP, we win Coach of the Year, we win Offensive Player of the Year, we win Defensive Rookie of the Year. We are Super Bowl champions, and Burrow, of course, won Super Bowl MVP. So what a 2027 season for us, honestly. And yeah, I mean, that quickly we go from losing the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, and then we come back the next year, avenge that, and beat the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. So still got 2 more years of this rebuild to go. All right, so we come here to our re-signing period. We still have a ton of cap room, actually, because I feel like a lot of the core components of this team are signed in. So Poona Ford would like to be back, but we're actually going to let him walk. Chris Jenkins, though, we are going to keep him around and, again, keep this defensive line room intact because I think it is the strongest part of our team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else really to say. It's definitely the strongest part of our team. David Edwards, I would like to have back, and it's going to be a little pricey. Going to be $17 million, and he's going to come back for a year. I don't think we've really drafted his replacement just yet, so yeah, gonna have to bring him back, and then everyone else we can honestly just let walk. Well, Evan McPherson, I swear these kickers are always so picky, and kicker's gonna stick around, and we're probably closing in on the time when it's time for us to start moving money around with contracts, if I'm being honest. And I guess we'll keep a long snapper. Whatever, we will. We're kind of in the point where we're gonna start doing some weird things with contracts, where we start having to, you know, how do I say this? Start having to move money around and things like that. $34 million in cap space, but We have a 2-year window here to try to go for a three-peat, and that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to look at free agency. Again, $34 million. We're mostly fine. We don't need to really go out and do anything. Cole Bishop would be kind of fun. Geno Stone is kind of getting up there in age, 29. Could be a decent replacement. Could then trade Geno Stone, actually. So we're going to go 4 years here. We're going to try to bring in Cole Bishop. And that's probably all we're going to do. Cole Bishop, Javon Holland, a little bit older. That's why we're not actually looking to bring him in. Yeah, we're fine here. I mean, everything's fine. We don't really need to do anything else to this team. Landon Dickerson, that would be fun, but we don't need to. Our offensive line is, well, pretty well set as is. So, really, it's going to just come down to whether or not Cole Bishop wants to play for us or not. And he does. We signed Cole Bishop, so we signed one of the best players in free agency. And that now allows us, I think, to be in a position where we can probably move Geno Stone. We don't need to keep him around. Again, closing in on 30, and has regressed a little bit, has a year left on his deal. We're not going to re-sign him. So we can actually go in here and move him and try to bring someone else in. Let's see. Noah Sewell. I'm not interested really in that. Andrew Makuba. Let's counter offer that. What do we have? I know we have a good strong safety. Yeah, we have Jordan Battle for 3 years, so that's not what we need, actually. And I don't actually want to do that deal with the Chiefs. I want to find someone that could use a spare safety and get like a decent pick out of them. Maybe we can get like an additional, I don't know, additional 3rd-round pick out of someone. Caleb Downs has developed quite nicely. Andre Cisco, he's still there looking pretty good. Darius Washington, Trayvon Moehrig, Malik Mustafa. Yeah, we'll trade him to the Raiders. Will you give me a 2 and a 5 for him? I have no idea if that's... Okay, so they don't want to do that. What about a 2 and a 5 and a 5 next year? Okay, so I don't think they want to do a 2. What about a 3 and a 5? And they do a 3 and a 5, so we get an additional 3 and a 5 for Geno Stone. And there we go. Move on from him. We now have a new starting safety for us. So out with the old, in with the new. Also going to bring in Chig Okonkwo as a backup tight end. Not sure why I need a tight end, but, sometimes they kind of help with the sim. So I think. I don't know. I like signing backup tight ends for some reason. I'm not sure why. All right, so we are in the draft here, in the driver's seat, and we are looking for really anything, honestly. Doesn't really matter. I feel like this roster is rounded out very well, so I don't really have to, I think, go that far to find anything too crazy, but I'm thinking receiver, actually, right now, and what do you know? LSU, Cordell Vereen, and he looks pretty good, honestly, 4.49. Great change of direction, great jumping, good solid speed. Looks all right, honestly. And, we may end up having to trade one of our receivers in the future here just because of the way the contracts work. I mean, it's going to be really pricey to keep these guys around super long term. So it's going to be Cordell Vereen, only 89 speed, but does have hidden dev. So maybe we can get a one-off upgrade to speed or something along the lines. But for the most part, 89 speed, that's kind of about as low as I'm willing to go for most receivers in Madden. And we're here with our second pick of the draft, and here we are going to take a running back. It's going to be Devin Wilkins, power back with elite strength, decent speed, but elite strength, A ball carrier vision, A break tackle, B carrying, B catching. Also from LSU. So this is like, so right now the all LSU draft. Number 49 in True Value, got him at 64. Also has hidden dev, 88 speed, 84 strength. Everything looks really good here. So I kind of can't wait to see what he looks like, in the sim, because again, Chase Brown's contract's probably coming up. Could be a guy that we could end up moving. And we're going to skip it in the draft here to our next pick. I believe this is the one that we got from the Raiders in the Geno Stone trade. So we look around here, again, what do we want to do? It's, again, kind of do whatever we want. I mean, it's really that simple. We can straight up do whatever we want and take whoever we want. So could we take a corner right here? We could, but I'm going to go look at some linemen just in case if there's anything in here that I may have missed, because that's always possible. And you never know, there might be some sneaky good linemen in here. A couple guys with some A ratings here. The pass block finesse isn't really good. Power's okay. Pass block is okay. Devontae Bailey. We're going to take a risk here on Devontae Bailey. Not even going to look at his other things, but number 59 in True Value, got him at 89 in the draft. Also has hidden dev, so there we go. Another really good pick right there. Just more guys for depth. Also, if contracts come up, we'll have some guys ready to go, potentially to start if we have to trade anyone. And that's kind of something I'm always thinking about in these rebuilds, right? Always got to be ready to potentially pull off a trade. We're looking around here. I know awareness isn't like the most important thing, but it can matter sometimes. We do have a linebacker right here. It's an edge. Christian Wynn. Doesn't look like anything special. What's that linebacker I was just looking at? I wish I would not do this. Zach Butler. Doesn't look like anything special, honestly. We'll go take a closer look at these linebackers. Maybe there's something in there. You never know. We got to dig through junk. But actually, this guy, Jack Harrison, B play rec, B hit power, then C to F. I don't like seeing that. That's probably a no-go. Any safeties that look all right? No. This is only like the third round. It just doesn't seem like there's... like it's that deep of a draft class, if I'm being entirely honest. And maybe we'll take a look at another receiver. Potentially. I mean, there's a round 3 to 4 guy here. D catching, F catching traffic. That's just not very good. Maybe there's a... no, not really. And we just brought in an extra tight end, so that's not something we really need. I guess we'll just take an extra lineman, also from LSU. But then he has poor strength, elite agility, but everything else doesn't look very good. So that's going to be a no for me, dog. That's going to be a... that's a no for me, dog. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything that I like here. We look around here. This doesn't look all that good. Edge guys, we're kind of good at edge anyway, so we don't really need that. So maybe we'll just take a flyer on one of these corners, and it's the one with the C play rec. So we'll see if he's any good. Out of Duke. He is number 86 in True Value. We got him at 96. So 92 speed, no hidden dev or anything like that, but could be solid. Probably a special teamer. I am going to let the CPU handle the rest of the draft. So here's our draft recap. Cordell Vereen, 78 overall, actually. And he looks pretty good. Really good spec catch, but I think that's because of the team morale boost, but still a pretty good rating regardless. So, yeah, looking really good, actually. Outside of the speed, he looks like a pretty good player, so could be a good pick. And then Devin Wilkins, also hidden dev here. looks good. So, decent draft. All right, so year 3 of this rebuild, it has been going pretty well for us this entire time, and we got a ton of upgrade points for guys. We have Vereen, he goes all the way up to an 84. These were all upgrade points that we got doing training camp, because I triple stacked camp counselor. For some of these guys, they had 10 upgrade points. So Devontae Bailey up to a 76 overall right now. No space for him to start just yet, but I do expect him to eventually take over this left guard spot here for David Edwards, who is getting up there in years. So again, we have a succession plan already in place, ready to go for that. Defensive line room looks really good still. We got Foster, we got Jenkins Jr., we got Edwards, Durant, and then we got Arvil Reese on the edge, Shamar Stewart, who's coming along nicely. We have Superstar X Factor Quay Walker, who's worked out really well for us, Cole Bishop, Battle, Taylor Britt, Hill, Turner, Williams. Still a really good cornerback room, so expecting a lot of success from them. So we'll see how we do here, but I'll see you just at the end of the season, at the end of the regular season. No midseason mark, just going to go straight to the end of the season here from here on out after we win Super Bowls, I think. All right, so the end of season 3 here. We go 15-2, repeat as AFC North champions. We're the only team in the AFC North to make the playoffs, do have the bye, and we are looking pretty good here. Go take a look here at these stats and awards, and Joe Burrow, great season, 5,400 yards, 39 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Chase Brown, 74 rushing yards on the seasons, or 74, that'd be really bad. 744 rushing yards on the season, 14 touchdowns. 3 here from Devin Wilkins, who likely is going to be a future starter for us. He is an 83 overall. We really got him a lot of XP upgrades. So this was actually a really good draft class for us, mostly because of this guy, Cordell Vereen. 12 touchdowns, led the way for touchdowns. Another good season for Tanner Koziel. But look at that. I mean, just a great season here for our receivers. But Cordell Vereen is all the way up to an 87 overall right now, and with the morale and all the boosts, playing up to a 93. So again, looking great, and that was a great pick because T. Higgins is a free agent. We just didn't have the money to re-sign him. There was other guys that were more important. So this is probably going to be T. Higgins' last rodeo with us. That's just kind of how it goes. Once guys start getting to that third contract, then it's like, well, can't exactly pay that. And then look at this. We have fully, truly developed Arvil Reese as a pass rusher. 22.5 sacks on the season. 16.5 for Michael Edwards. Demetrius Knight Jr. with 13. Shamar Stewart with 11. Probably his best of his career. And then Zane Durant with 4 sacks. See some good TFL numbers here for some of these guys. Quay Walker was pretty good for us. That was a great trade. But things are going pretty good here for us, actually. Defensively, we've really turned around this defense. Interceptions all look good. A bunch of guys just getting interceptions here. But Arvil Reese, that is the guy who has really developed here as an edge rusher for us. Again, needed to develop those moves, and we did it, right? His play rec was already good. I believe his block shedding was already good. Just had to develop the power and finesse moves, and we've done that. And he is an absolute monster for us. So that was a home run of a pick. And let's see who we're going to be playing in the playoffs. All right, going to be taking on the Patriots here in the playoffs. And 15-2 on the year, taking on the 9-8 Patriots. We are better than them by an average of, 4 overall points. Offense, way better than them, actually. But a little closer defensively. But I think we should win this game pretty easily. And yeah, let's get in there and see. All right, we are here in the fourth quarter, dominating 26-7. They are going to go for it. They don't get it clearly. We are just running out clock here, 29-7. They're just going for it, get some garbage time points. Doesn't matter because we are moving on to the AFC Championship game, 29-7, defeating the Patriots, going to our 3rd straight AFC Championship. All right, going to be taking on the Dolphins here. We're now at the point in the franchise where I get a little interested in kind of seeing who is where. I'm going to take a quick look at this Dolphins team because I want to see who their quarterback is. I don't think it's Tua, and it is Jameel Hatchett. It must have been a guy that they do have Trinidad Chambers, but Jameel Hatchett is a 23-year-old, 90 overall quarterback. Let's take a look here. And yeah, pretty good throw power. Looks really good, actually. 79 speed. Yeah, just like a really solid, good quarterback. And 6'3", 227 pounds, out of Alabama. So Tua gets replaced by a Alabama guy. So all SEC quarterbacks here for the Dolphins. So let's see if we can beat them. They are 9-8, and we are better than them by a lot, though. So we should win. All right, so we are in the third quarter here of this game. Just still simulating it. Just going through 21-3 here. Like I said, it's going to be, I think we're going to be a pretty tough team for anyone to beat. They get it to 18, and we're going to go here. Minute 53 left. I'll come in here. This is where I'll come in. Don't want to come in too often, but if we can come in like once a game, I guess we can do that. They can tie with a field goal. And they are going to move into field goal range here. Had a pretty good lead for most of it, and then the offense just went cold, it looked like. So we'll see. And they are just going to try to move it down the field here. And still have Mike McDaniel here. 4-2-5. I like the 4-2-5 defense. Gonna try to get him here. If we can get any sort of pressure, I would like that. That'd be pretty nice. And they're just kind of working the sidelines here. And yeah, so we're going to see if we can get them off. I would like to get them off the field here. Can we bring any sort of heat here? And that is going to be incomplete, 4th and inches. We forced the incompletion. And now they are going to go for the field goal here. And snap, hold, up, away, good. That is going to tie the game, 21-20, which is going to give us an opportunity to go and win this football game right here. I will come in and play this. I don't know if some people like that or not. I'm always really confused, but we're going to get, and we get a drop. This isn't even like on a tough difficulty, and there's drops. No wonder why children don't play Madden. This is what they have to put up with. They have to put up with nonsense like this. And either way, we get the first down eventually with, but like really a drop? Dropped passes? This is on like pro, dude. Like, what are we doing? This is on like just the default settings. Get some good blocks here. Chase Brown runs through a guy right there. And now they call a timeout. I believe that is their final timeout. So at this point, we can just run this football and run this clock out and kick a field goal and move on to the Super Bowl. Get some good blocks right there, and that is Isaiah Pacheco. We're going to come back and run, I think, just one more play here, and then get this to, just the time expiring. Pacheco picks up the first down right there. We just get a little bit closer. And we're going to call one more play to get this closer. Because why not? I don't want to be like John Harbaugh and not give ourselves enough time to, we have more than enough time. We have all of our timeouts. We can take time, run a couple plays, and, not have to kick like a 50-yard field goal and hope, especially in outdoor conditions. So we end up having to only kick a 39-yard field goal. Gonna come back out on here. And we're going to kick this right as time expires. 000 on the clock. We kick a field goal, and we are going back to the Super Bowl. 24-21. We defeat the Dolphins, end their season, end their Cinderella run, and we are going on for another Super Bowl. All right, it's the Super Bowl. Could be a tough one. We are taking on the Detroit Lions. This is a team I feel like I always see in the Super Bowl is the Lions. They're better than us, but it's a pretty close matchup, honestly. So two pretty evenly matched teams, not perfectly even, but two pretty evenly matched teams here in the Super Bowl. Cincinnati, Detroit. Let's see how we do. All right, we are in the Super Bowl here, up 14-0 second quarter. Just going to try to let them do it themselves, honestly. It looks like our offense is kind of not having too much of an issue moving up and down on this Lions defense right now. Third quarter, we still have them 20-0 here. They can go for it if they want. They're going to have a long drive, but yeah, looks like we are going to do this here. 23-0. And if they can't get any points, we are going to shut them out in the Super Bowl. And we do shut them out here. 23-0 here. A dominant Super Bowl here for the Cincinnati Bengals team as they go back-to-back. Didn't have to jump in at all. Just let them handle it. They were able to do it. This might be the last ride for a couple guys on this team. Money's starting to get a little tight. T. Higgins probably not going to be back. So T. Higgins goes out on top with us here, winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Burrow gets 2 so far, and we have 1 more year to go. We do have a retirement, and that's going to be Cavante Turpin. He decides to retire after 8 years, won 2 Super Bowls with us, and said, I don't need any more. So Turpin going to call it a career. But again, we win 23-0. MVP of the league with Joe Burrow. Defensive Player of the Year, of course, was Arvell Reese. We also won Coach of the Year. So really good stuff here. And Super Bowl MVP ended up being Arvell Reese. So really good stuff right there. Upgrades. These are probably just going to be back-end practice squad guys. I doubt any of our starters have anything. Or actually, they do. He gets up to a pretty nice overall there for Tanner. And yeah, he's progressed very nice for us. So that has been a great pick. Caleb Tiernan has been our starting left tackle. And, you know, could I spend money to go get a upgrade? Sure, but he is perfectly fine right there at left tackle. So we feel pretty good about having him be there at left tackle. So, yeah, retirement's nothing too crazy. Take a quick look at the mock draft. Who are we projected to take? And we are projected to take a corner, which could happen. We do probably need to start looking at some of these other corners and things like that, but we're not going to have a lot of money. If your players ready to negotiate, Arvell Reese, we're going to accept that option. Now, T. Higgins, he does want to be here. We just don't have the money to do it. Jalen Corker, I mean, there's a lot of guys here. Barrett Carter, who I really do like having around. David Edwards, we can let walk because we have depth at that position. Devontae Bailey, who we drafted last year, can go and slot right in. So we don't have to bring back Edwards. But since this is the last year of the rebuild, what we can do, and I believe this should be in GM office here, we can go to these salaries, and we can probably find where we can restructure some deals and try to clear some space, and we can restructure some contracts. We don't have a lot of contracts to restructure. We can restructure this one. That'll free up around $3 million. We can see where we can, do this. It's going to be a little tough because we have a lot of expirings coming up. Here we go. Marius Mims, we can clear up $8 million right there. Push that to 2030 because I won't be the GM in 2030, right? I won't have to be dealing with that stuff. Dylan Fairchild, we can push an extra $2 million right there. So we created some space, but there's not a lot of places where we can do that. I mean, we can push even more money to Arvell Reese, but we just can't do that right now. So we have $31 million in cap. What can we do here? Actually, one of the things we could do, we go back to salaries and, is there anyone that we can cut and save money on? Chase Brown, that would be a little bit. Quay Walker, that's not going to happen. Again, there's just not there's nowhere for us to really cut and have big savings, right? We're not in the position to do that right now. So $32 million. And who are we bringing back? Well, it's not going to be T. Higgins. That's just not going to happen. And it might have to just be these linebackers that we're going to bring back. They're relatively cheap. I think they're really important to the depth of the defense. I feel like having extra linebackers really does seem to matter in the sim engine, and they're not terribly expensive. Um, Barrett Carter, he's going to come back as well, and that's going to do it. Really, I mean, there is no one else here that we're going to bring back. T. Higgins, thank you for your service. Salute to you. We just don't have the money to bring him back. And yeah, not going to happen. So, going to let those guys walk. All right, so we lost T. Higgins. We need to go out and get another receiver, I think, for the long-term future. Well, not really, but because I'm not going to be here. So 2030 picks are on the table. We package Chase Brown, a 2030 first and a 2030 second, and we go out and we trade for Marvin Harrison Jr. We decide to make a splashy move here. We get Marvin Harrison Jr. Now this offense, hey, T. Higgins, as great as he was, getting up there in age a little bit, don't necessarily want to pay him. Well, you know what? That's fine, because now we have an offense where Marvin Harrison Jr. is our third best receiver. So I like having three receivers. It seems like the sim engine enjoys that. And our offensive line is pretty good, right? This is a really good offensive line. We've built it up over this entire rebuild, and it looks great. Take a look here at the defense. What do we need to do? And really, I don't think there's much we need to do. I think we're pretty good, actually. I think we look fine, honestly. This defense is good. We don't need to go out here and do anything crazy in free agency. This team's already good enough. So just need to get another receiver, and we can move on to the draft and see if we can find anything else in there that would help this team. Granted, I don't really know if there is, but we'll find it if we can. Also, I feel like I should explain why I felt so comfortable trading away Chase Brown. As good as he's been for us, in the last draft, we drafted Devin Wilkins out of LSU, and he looks really good, honestly. I mean, star dev, 220 pounds, 5'11", basically redshirted a year, looks awesome, good ball carrier, vision, trucking, all that stuff. Kind of a perfect mix of, I think, a good power and elusive guy. So, yeah, Devin Wilkins will easily be able to hold down that running back slot for us. That's why I felt comfortable making that trade, and also that's kind of why I drafted him, because I figured we could go one more season, which was the last season, with Chase Brown, get what we got to get out of him, and then trade him and ship him off, and then hand over the starting job to Wilkins. So there we go. All right, so we are here back in the draft, final draft of the rebuild, and, we're in a position where I don't think we need a whole lot, so we can, again, kind of just do whatever we want here. We could go with any of these players here who I think would probably be fine picks, but I'm looking at this rebuild, and again, I always like operating like this because I think it kind of makes it a little more fun. Jamar Chase will be a free agent after this upcoming season, so we have him. I won't be there for it, but I assume I like building it like I will be there, and again, it preaches the idea of always kind of building these position groups out. We take a receiver, Markel Reese, maybe he's the brother of Arvell, I don't know. But building it out and, just kind of always having succession plans in place, right? You always want to have those plans, especially when you can't pay everyone and also when you can't give guys their third deals. And Markel Reese looks really good out of USF, hidden dev, 93 speed. I know we just traded for Marvin Harrison Jr., so this guy probably won't do much, but we'll take him anyways, because why not? Second round pick here, we are going to take another linebacker. Thinking here again, those succession plans I talk about. Could be a guy, I don't know, looks all right, actually. Has okay block shedding, good man coverage, D play rec. Could be a guy who could develop for us pretty nicely, though, I think, if I was to stick around, but also has B zone coverage as well. So, I don't know, I think he looks all right. We'll see what he is once he actually gets into the draft. I'm going to let the CPU handle the rest of it, though. All right, so draft recap here. Markel Reese, 78 overall. That's pretty good, honestly. Everything looks good here. In 93 speed, 89 acceleration. I don't like the number 0. Route running all looks good. So this would probably be a really fun offense to play all the games with. But we don't do that here. Vince Muldrow, gonna need some work for sure, but we have a ton of linebackers ahead of him, so he won't be on the field. Doesn't really matter. Then we also took Marco Sharper. Hope he's not related to Darren Sharper. Say a cornerback. Um, has to develop his own coverage stuff, but could work. 5'10", little on the small side for me. I like guys who are a little taller. And then Darren Covington, 6'3", 214 pounds. Gonna have to work on his coverage skills, but play rec is at 70, so it's already in like a decent enough place. That'll definitely go up pretty nicely. 84 speed though, a little on the slow side. So we'll see. Again, these are future players that won't really matter too much of this rebuild, I don't think. But either way, that's the last draft class. Now let's get into the final season. Okay, so the start of the final year of this rebuild. And we are going to go for a three-peat, of course. But, we're still really good. I mean, 90 overall team. That might be the highest overall we've had of the entire rebuild, straight up team overall. 92 overall offense, 88 overall defense. We should be good. Honestly, we have an insanely stacked wide receiver room. Let's generate the lineup real quick here. But yeah, I mean, this wide receiver room is absolutely stacked with talent. It's an embarrassment of riches. Really good at running back. Great at offense. Our offensive line, I think, is great. Again, offensive linemen, they don't get too crazy when it comes to development in this game, or you get those upgrade points. I feel like they don't get those enough, but that's probably really hard to put into the game. But this looks great here, and defense looks really good. So yeah, I mean, this defense looks great. Defensive line, really good. It's been really good the entire time. Still good at corner. A lot of the same guys. I mean, the only guy who we've added to this cornerback room, truthfully, was Garrett Williams in, I think the first year of our free agency. So Edwards looks great. Arvell Reese, great. Shamar Stewart has been really good for us. So I feel pretty confident that we should be able to at least repeat as AFC North champions. But you never know. We are going to sim to the playoffs. I'm just going to go straight to it. And we're going to see what happens. Because you never know. But I expect this team to at least be a 1 seed, or at very least 2 seed. When I was trying to make trades in this most recent offseason, I saw that no one had money, it looked like. So there was a lot of teams struggling with the cap. The Steelers had the most cap. They had $100 million in space. So good for them, but we haven't run across the Steelers really at all in this rebuild in terms of the playoffs. We just have not seen them, and I don't think they've really been in there. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be interested to see what's gonna happen here. As it's going through the rebuild here, or going through the sim here. Taking a little bit of time. Wish this would be a little quicker now, but it can't. And let's go here, and we go 14-3, and we have the bye. There we go, 14-3, best record in the AFC, and the Steelers in the cellar again at 6-11. So I have some upgrades here to do, and Cordell Vereen's going to get some more here. This should push him into a 90 overall at the bare minimum, and yeah. That's nice. I mean, that was, maybe a risky pick. We still had T. Higgins, but it did work out because, like I said, I thought forward and foresaw a situation where T. Higgins would no longer be on this team because we couldn't afford to pay him. And it was more important to keep key parts of the defense around. So here is Devin Wilkins, starting running back. I'll be interested to see what his stats look like. I'm fascinated to see kind of what production he had, just because Chase Brown had good production, not great. So I doubt it's running back. I doubt if we had a way better running back, we would get suddenly way more production out of someone. I don't think that's how that necessarily works. I just think this playbook doesn't really allow for that. For whatever reason, it just kind of does not have the running backs get too crazy. I mean, we saw, I believe, Jamar Chase have a 2,000-yard ceiling, so our season. So that's kind of what this offensive playbook in the sim does. It really prioritizes passes, big numbers for receivers, and that makes sense. I mean, this is a playbook based on a team that has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, so that makes total sense. That would be the priority for it, but I would like to see it not be so dependent on necessarily the playbook, but hopefully that's something that we'll see in Madden 27. That's something that we'll have to wait and see, of course, but do all those upgrades right there, and that gets us up to a 95 overall offense, 91 overall total, but 91 overall defense as well. So let's go take a look at the stats and awards, and we are right behind John Madden in Legacy. I had no idea. Look at this. Zachary Taylor Thomas is right there behind John Madden. So we are moving up the board here. But Joe Burrow, 40 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 5,500 yards, almost getting to 6,000 yards. And then Devin Wilkins was awesome, 774 yards. I feel like that's kind of like what you're going to get with this playbook setup with a running back. 19 touchdowns on the season as well. That is insanely impressive. And then look at this. This is really great here. Cordell Vereen kind of took over as the big dog here. 19 touchdowns on the season, 1,500 yards. Jamar Chase, 1,500 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., 1,000 yards. Tanner Kozel, 2 touchdowns, 753 yards. Wilkins added in some receiving yards as well. And yeah, nothing for Markel Reese, but he will probably be our future third receiver if we were going to keep going with this rebuild. But we're not. So Shamar Stewart, 13.5 sacks, 12 sacks for Arvell Reese, 8 for Demetrius Knight, 8 for Michael Edwards, Zane Durant coming up 2.5. So nothing too crazy with sack numbers this season for us. And some turnovers here. DJ Turner getting 2, and that's about it. Nothing too crazy. So a really good season for us. Going to advance on here, and we are going to see who we're taking on in the playoffs, and it's going to be the Browns. So I'm going to be a little interested, and now want to see who's their starting quarterback. Did they go with Shadur? They did not. Tua ends up on the Browns. And they went with Dylan Kendrick. They took in this most recent draft, 86 overall, looking like Steven Seagal right there. So let's see if we can beat the Browns in the playoffs. All right, so we are going to beat the Browns here 28-19. I almost missed it because I was looking at my phone, but beat the Browns 28-19, going to the AFC Championship game again. All right, so taking on the Dolphins again. I believe we took on the Dolphins last year in the AFC Championship game, or at least some playoff game, but we're still better than them. So 95 overall offense. They have an 87 overall offense, 88 overall defense. We're 89. They're an 87 overall. We're a 92 overall. We should win this game. Overalls don't mean everything, but I think we should win. All right. We are in this AFC Championship game. We are beating the Dolphins by 10 right now. Just going to, like I said, let our team handle it, the CPU handle it, and they are kind of getting back in the game here. I'm going to keep letting them do it themselves, and Buttholes got a little puckered up right there, but we still hold on to win 19-12. We beat the Dolphins in the AFC Championship game. We're going back to the Super Bowl. Cordell Vereen ends up winning Offensive Player of the Year, so he goes up to Superstar X Factor, so that gives us another X Factor receiver. Super happy about that, and very happy that he's worked out. So just going to go with Deep Threat for him right now. Kind of get him a little more, even more well-rounded. That's the scary part. He still has a lot of room to grow. And LSU, again, producing great wide receivers. And the rest of these guys, Barian Brown is a guy who super impressive physically. As I upgrade his physical. There's no way for him to get on the field. He's been here 3 years, 99 speed, 98 acceleration. There's no one for him to play in front of. So Barian Brown not able to get on the field really that much in this rebuild. Just Who the hell would he play ahead of? But taking on the Giants here in the Super Bowl, gonna see if we can beat them. And another three-peat on the channel would be pretty nice. So let's see if we can make it happen. All right, we are in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl here. Letting our team, letting the CPU handle it for us, and we're up 21-0 here over the Giants. They're going to go for it. Of course they would. And it looks like we are in position to really just put this one away here. Up 24-0 here. We're going to come on the field one final time for one last play of this rebuild. I mean, unless there's a 25-point play I don't know about, this is definitely going to be it. Going to get one out to Scatterboo. He drops it, and that is how the cookie's going to crumble in the Super Bowl here as we win 3 in a row, 24-0, shutting out Jackson Dart and the New York Giants, capping off this dynasty. I think in a extremely fitting way. We built a stifling defense here with pass rush, our defensive line, great linebackers, really good corner room, really great safeties. This is a tough defense to score on, and they just could not do it. So let's go take a final look at the final team here and see where our legacy score stands. So our legacy score is we're still number 2 here, but you know, if we kept going, we could probably pass John Madden up here. I mean, we have more Super Bowls and yearly awards and stuff. We don't have a game named after ourselves, though. We don't have that. See, Mike Tomlin ended up in Washington, which actually doesn't sound too crazy now that I think about it. Like in a year, I could totally see him being like the Commanders head coach or something. But we're going to take a final look at this roster. Going to be a lot of guys, some guys who aren't going to be back on this team just because of the money, but this team is set up for a ton of success, even moving forward. Great offensive line. Yeah, I mean, this team is just awesome. Joe Burrow, awesome. You have a backup quarterback that's, you know, whatever. Yeah, Jamar Chase, he's had that skill point now for a couple seasons. He can't spend it because he's a 99 overall, but 2 X-Factor receivers. And then you got Reese and Harrison Jr. down here as well. I mean, this team is just, I mean, it's really good. We've done a great job here. Defensive line worked out pretty well. I mean, eventually, Chris Jenkins Jr. kind of fell by the wayside because Michael Edwards were so good. Zane Durant developed in this rebuild. Arvell Reese developed as a pass rusher, one of the premier pass rushers in the league he's developed into. DJ Turner has been great. Cam Taylor-Britt has been great. Dax Hill's been really good. And you see Sharper, who we took, rookie, he's developed pretty nicely as well. So, you know, as those guys fall off, we'll have Sharper kind of come in and eventually he'll take over for those guys as well. But that is going to do it here, ladies and gentlemen, for this rebuild. I hope you enjoyed this one. I believe I have 2 more teams left that have not made the playoffs. So that is the Buccaneers and the Falcons. So I'll try to get to those. And then eventually we'll see kind of, you know, playoff teams that got eliminated. We still have a bunch of those teams we can do. I'll probably get to those whenever they fix the start today feature, what week you can pick. It's still been week 16 now. However it was before Christmas, it's still that way now. And January is like halfway done. So hopefully they can work on that. I'm sure Christmas break is coming to an end for them. So they should be back getting that feature up and going. So whenever they have that, I will be getting back on the grind with those teams as well. So if you enjoyed this rebuild, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, go subscribe to my other channels. I have a 2K channel. If you like 2K stuff, I do 2K stuff. I have a college football channel where I do stuff over there. So go subscribe to those channels as well, as along with this one. YouTube's going to tell you to watch this video right here. Go watch that one, and I'll see you guys in the next one for another Madden 26 rebuild. Thanks for watching.